Hey folks, it's Stacy here. Stacy on the way back to Homestead on the Hill. Been down in the Big Spoke for a few days and we are headed back up the mountain. You'll notice down here, can you see that? Can you see that? It says 312. So the range-o-meter says I've got about 312 kilometers of range left in my charge on my Chevy Bolt. So the range-o-meter says I have 311 kilometers of range. That's the best guess. If everything was equal, everything was optimal and all that kind of stuff, I could probably go 389. But if things are really crappy, I might only be able to do 255. So it gives you the range, and it says based on my driving habits, I probably have 311 kilometers of range. So that's different than in the summertime. At this point, I would have probably 450 or 400 kilometers of range, but it's nice to keep the windows defrosted and defogged. So that takes up some energy. Also, we're running Michelin X Ice winter tires. And immediately, as soon as you switch from the summer tires to the winter tires, which is required by law to run winter tires in the Fraser Canyon, your range drops way off. I've been doing about 19.3 kilowatt hours per 100. We have about 240, 250 kilometers to go. So if everything worked perfectly and I didn't have to use the heater or the snow tires or anything like that, I could make it to the cabin, to the homestead on one charge. But I'm a believer in, I like to, anywhere I go, when I drove a gasoline powered vehicle, I never landed anywhere with under a quarter tank of gas. I always wanted to have a half a tank of gas. So what we'll do is we're going to stop in Hope and we're going to get a couple groceries and coffee at the Blue Moose, of course. And so we need a couple groceries. So we'll just drop it on the charger there for 20 minutes or something like that. So just rolling through Mission, BC. And on the range meter, I have 280 kilometers left of range, and we've traveled 40.8, so say 41 kilometers. Anyway, we just rolled through DeRoche, and eagles swirling around up there. You can't see it on the camera, but it's a beauty. 260 kilometers left on the range-o-meter, and we've traveled 60 kilometers. So we've traveled 92 kilometers since we left home. And we had 311 on the ranger meter when we left, and now we're at 230. So I did the math on that, and what was that, like 81, we used 81 kilometers of range, and we've traveled 91 kilometers. So my good behavior in driving has made it so that we're moving onto the upper side of it rather than the lower side. We're just crossing into Seabird Island. So I'm going to put the old cruise on. Next stop is Hope, and we'll plug in at the what do you call it? The BC Hydro flow chargers. And you can see the river on the right hand side there. There's the mighty Fraser. Anyway, the flow chargers that I just pulled up to, they're both currently being used. Got 193 on the of range. I've also got here in front of me, you can see in front of me there, I got the Sun Country. It's a level 2 charger. It's the 220. So we're going to be here probably for half an hour. So I'll just plug into that, grab a little bit of range. So I've got the car plugged in here. It's just the level 2 charger. I might pick up 20 kilometers of range. Better than nothing. And I know. Okay. So we were on the level 2 charger, it's 220, and what did I pull in at? I can't remember now, but I'm up to 212. And so what we're going to do is I was just talking to a guy in the Blue Moose, and he's up at the fast charger. So we still need to get a couple groceries. So I'm just going to wheel in up there, park the car there for 20 minutes and get some juice in the batteries. Okay, so I just plugged in the fast charger. This one here, this is what I was saying, the Seabird Island is a 50 kilowatt per hour, whereas this is a 25 kilowatt per hour. I'm just going to run up to the Bi-Lo, get some groceries, and by the time I get back, I'll have more than enough juice to take me up the canyon. We've been at this charger at the fast charger here, so 140, 17 minutes. And so I bumped it up. We did the Sun Country one from 190 to 210. And now I've added another 30 kilometers of range on here. We could sit here longer. I'm at 240 kilometers of range, so lots of range. And I also know that the chargers in Boston Bar in the Fraser Canyon, there's 4 chargers there now. I know that they're working. I'm going to jump out of the car and I'm going to unplug. So hang tight. You can watch me as I'm up there. So there we are. Now I've got about 240 kilometers of range, and best case scenario 300, 299, worst case 198. But I got 242, and I have, like I said, 108 to go. So we're just rolling into Boston Bar. So you can only charge 2 cars at a time, even though you got the different styles of chargers there. I've got 168 kilometers of range left in the batteries, and we got about 40 some kilometers to go. We're just running through the canyon. Is this not the most spectacular place in the world? I absolutely love this place. Get down towards Lillooet. So we just rolled through the village of Lytton, the village site. You can see here I've got 116 kilometers of range left over. What did I have when we left Hope? Was it 230? 230? Something like that? And so we used 115, about 115 in order to travel about 110 kilometers. So we have arrived back at the homestead, and we have 84 kilometers of range left in the tank, and it's just over 25% of the battery is still remaining. So I will plug it into the 110 power source that I have outside here and let it recharge. It recharges relatively slowly, but hey, you know what I say, it may not be fast, but it's slow. Set it so it charges at 12 amps per hour, something like that. I don't know. So that's it. We drove from the Big Smoke back home to the homestead. That's it for this week. Tune in next week. See what kind of antics we get up to. Take care. Be kind. Tune in next week. Bye now.